Hello, good friends, and welcome to Kelly's Wordy Reactions. So, today we are going to be popping in and out with some Diddy trial updates. So, let's go ahead and get right into it. And as you see, I have on the screen the where I'm getting these updates from. So we're going to be going through these, checking them throughout the day, and just staying updated as to what's going on up abreast. All right, so this is live updates. Cassie plans to testify as Sean Combs's sex trafficking trial. All right. I'll be wanting to just fly through these words, but try to keep it clean. Okay. Details in the criminal, and that's going to be challenging. Details in the criminal indictment mirror those in Cassandra Ventura's lawsuit, which accused Mr. Combs of a pattern of control and abuse. All right. Let me get over here. Okay. Let's see. Hold on, let me see. Adjust my camera for when I want to do camera. Okay. All right, so when I want to, I won't have the camera on all day, but nothing fall. Nothing fall. Oh my gosh. All right, I think I'm gonna leave well enough alone. Okay. I need my ring light. My ring light fell and broke, and it only comes on sometime now. Sometimes. Okay. All right, let's get back to the updates because they're stacking up. They're stacking up on me. All right. So, as of 34 minutes ago, here's the latest. Or this was from like an article on here's the latest. Then we have our from the courtroom latest, which is more updated. Okay. So, the star witness of the federal ex trafficking trial of the music mogul Sean Combs is expected to take the stand on Tuesday. His former girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, the singer known as Cassie, who filed a civil lawsuit against him in 2023 that accused him of R word and years of physical abuse. Miss Ventura's suit, which was quickly settled, was followed by a criminal investigation that led to the trial in federal district court in lower Manhattan. Parts of the indictment against Mr. Combs, who is also known as Diddy and Puff Daddy, closely mirror the details and language of the lawsuit. Okay. So here's what else to know. We got X encounters, all right? Daniel Phillips, the prosecution's second witness, gave an explicit testimony on Monday that he was paid for X encounters, relations encounters with Miss Ventura while Mr. Combs watched. After Mr. Combs threw a liquor bottle at Miss Ventura and dragged her to another room, Mr. Phillips said he heard what sounded like Mr. Combs hitting her. Okay, we're not going to read more. We're going to get on. All right. If you're coming in, thank you for coming in. Hey. And we're trying to get to these updates. Okay. Hotel video. Israel Flores, a security guard at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles, told jurors on Monday that Mr. Combs was caught on security cameras striking, hitting, and kicking Miss Ventura in a hallway in 2016. Mr. Flores said that Miss Ventura had a purple eye and that Mr. Combs offered him cash. All right, opening statements. Emily Johnson, one of the prosecutors, sought to portray Mr. Combs as a serial ABUSER and ex-trafficker who hurt and manipulated women for decades and controlled an organization that helped him do it. One of Mr. Combs' lawyers, Tenny Garagos, said that the music mogul had been violin toward Miss Ventura, but that any ex was consensual. All right, we know who Cassie is. We know who Sean Combs is. We've heard that there's 8 men and 4 women in the jury. They are in their 30s to their 70s. I didn't know that piece, but now we know. They were sworn in as anonymous and so on and so forth. No video or photography in the courtroom. Let me make sure I'm still good on StreamYard. Okay. And R. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go down to the an hour ago. This trial continues to draw throngs of journalists, podcasters, and internet content creators who show up early in the morning or evening, or even the night before. When court adjourned yesterday, the line to get in for this morning was already 10 people long. Today, crowds are a bit smaller, but they're still turning the area outside the federal courthouse into a scene of nervous anticipation for people trying to get a seat inside of the courtroom itself. All right, Sean Combs just entered the courtroom. That was an hour ago, wearing a light-colored crew neck sweater. He hugged some of his lawyers and greeted his family assembled in the spectators gallery. Okay, 53 minutes ago, Judge Arun Subramanian is addressing a request by more than a dozen media outlets, including the New York Times, to allow public attendees of the trial to view video evidence of the sexual encounters, known as freak-offs, at the center of the prosecution's case. Hold on. So he was addressing a request by more than a dozen media outlets to allow public attendees of the trial to view the video evidence. Okay. So there was some requests for that. And then prosecutors have said they want to seal these pieces of evidence because they involved, ex-conduct, including the nudity of women involved in their case. The judge seems inclined to grant the motion. Whoa, saying there's a heightened First Amendment concern during an open trial, but he did not make a ruling as of yet. So if you're there, you might get a chance to see. Oh, I don't know, y'all. I don't know about that. I don't know. I need time to formulate. I didn't even think about the whole courtroom being able to see the FO, right? Okay. 32 minutes ago, Daniel Phillip, who said he was paid to have relations with Cassandra Ventura while Sean Combs watched and pleasured himself. I need my light from my other computers. Hold on, and it's timing out on me, but I certainly need it. It's a little overcast today. Okay. Carrying on. While Sean Combs watched and pleasured himself, is back on the stand. So Daniel Phillips is back on the stand this morning. He's being cross-examined by one of Combs' lawyers, Xavier R. Donaldson. That was 33 minutes ago. 29 minutes ago, in his questioning, Sean Combs' lawyer, Xavier Donaldson, is trying to establish that Cassandra Ventura was a completely willing participant in these ex encounters with him. While Ventura, was Ventura the one who paid you? Is the question that was asked. And yes, Philip replies, she wasn't drunk or high. Philip agrees she was not. Is it fair to say she was in complete control of everything she did? Donaldson asks. And then Philip says, I cannot say that. That was 29 minutes ago. 17 minutes ago, Xavier Donaldson, Sean Combs' lawyer, just finished questioning Daniel Phillip, who said he was paid to have ex encounters with Cassie on what the witness has said was the first time he saw Combs abuse her. Okay, so Philip testified yesterday that Combs threw a liquor bottle that Miss Ventura and then dragged her by her hair into a bedroom. The defense is lingering on an important part of Phillips's testimony, that after the physical abuse, Combs said, are y'all ready to continue? Referring to the ex relations that was going on. Donaldson is suggesting that Philip told law enforcement something different in an interview in late 2023, that Combs told him to leave the hotel after the dispute. The reason this is so important is because prosecutors are trying to prove that Combs forced or coerced Ventura into the ex relations. If Combs pushed Ventura to continue with X after he beat her, that could be powerful evidence. That was 18 minutes ago. All right, Daniel Phillip is being questioned about how often he saw Cassie under the influence of substances. Phillip testified yesterday that it was only once, and at that time, Combs canceled their planned ex encounter. Xavier Donaldson, Combs' lawyer, is trying to highlight that substances were not a significant part of their ex relationship. That issue speaks to consent and whether or not there was coercion in the relationship between Combs and Ventura. Okay, am I still tracking? Yes, okay. 2 new updates. All right, the cross-examination of Daniel Phillip, who was paid to have these encounters with Cassie, is getting into the nature of his relationship with the singer. It is certainly a complicated one. Phillip said he could be paid from around $700 to $6,000 for each encounter, which Combs watched. But he testified that he had never been paid for relations before their first night together, and that he didn't care if I got paid. This is in quotes. Didn't care if I got paid one way or the other. Phillip agrees that he wanted their relationship to be deeper than just these voyeuristic nights of X. And then in quotes, had she ever given me the chance to date her, Phillip said of Ventura, I absolutely would have. And the latest, well, not the latest. Okay, so the cross-examination of Daniel Phillip has ended, and the prosecution is getting another chance to question him. The prosecution's second witness, a man named Daniel Phillip, who said he was paid, so the same guy, is finishing his testimony. Okay, so these must have been coming from 2 different people. Let's see. Okay, so Cassie may be coming up next, is what they're saying. All right, I'm going to take a little break. Whoop. I'm going to take a little break, get a little water, and I will be back soon. But I'm going to go ahead and stay on today. I came in and out. I mean, I set up the lives back and forth yesterday. So today I'm just going to do a little break and then I'll be back as soon as I can. Let's watch for the updates, which should show right there. Okay. Okay, and I'm back. So let's see here. All right, where are our updates? Ooh, just as I was about to come back with the updates, I had to run the dog outside. Okay, so as of 6 minutes ago, the prosecutor questioning Daniel Phillip, Maureen Comey, acknowledges that Cassie may have appeared to enjoy herself during their ex encounters, but she doesn't want the jury to forget the testimony about Sean Combs's role in his violin. In quotes, through all of your ex activity with Cassie, who was in the room? Comey asks. And in quotes, Sean Combs, myself, and Cassie. Philip replies. In quotes, and is Sean Combs the same man who threw a liquor bottle across the room when Cassie asked him to wait a minute? Comey responds. Philip says yes. All right. And 7 minutes ago, Daniel Phillip is done with his testimony. It is likely that Cassandra Ventura is up next. So, is there an update since then? Let's see. Looks like that's our most recent update. Okay, so let's go here and let me check something else. Oh, wow. So this is a little tidbit. So this was just very recently, a minute ago. So, judge, jurors take a break. We have some issues to deal with. Jurors leave. Combs is Anna Maria I don't know, Estival. Okay, we'd like Miss Ventura's husband to not be allowed in the courtroom during her testimony. We may need to call him as a witness later, depending on the direct. So that just in as of a minute ago. So they're going to ask Cassie's husband to leave, or they're I guess, telling the judge they would like to do that. And we have to see what the judge says about that. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay, let me give you a few things that we didn't already have. Okay, Combs is Donaldson. Fair to say, and these are, this is Combs' attorney, one of them. Fair to say she was in complete control of everything she was doing. Male dancer Phillip. I can't say that. Donaldson. You did not wear a condom. Phillip. I did not. Donaldson. Your boss told you Miss Cassie Ventura paid for the hotel. Phillip. Yes. And then next, Combs' attorney Donaldson. While you and Miss Cassie Ventura were having X for hours, Miss Ventura took the lead. Philip said no. Donaldson, you took the lead. Philip said we were equally doing our thing. There wasn't a leader. And then Donaldson asked, you decided together? And Philip said yes. And then moment. Okay, so all right. Okay. All right, that's what I got for right now. I'll be back when I see some more updates. Can somebody hop in the chat and tell me if that music is annoying? I have some. Let me make sure I even have it playing. Yeah, yeah, I have it playing, and it's down like almost as low as I can get it. If you wouldn't mind, can you hop in the chat and tell me if you think that music is annoying? If nobody says the music is annoying, I'm gonna assume that the music is not annoying. Um, oh, that's within. Oop, I see an update. Let's see what it says. Okay, just in. The defense asked that Cassandra Ventura's husband, Alex Fine, be barred from watching her testimony. Sean Combs' lawyers say they may need to call Fine as a witness later. The prosecution pushed back, saying Ventura needs her support system. Oh, wow. They tried to get him out of there so that she wouldn't have him to incur. Woo, that makes me want to cry. Woo, give me a minute. Whatever happens to this man, he is just the absolute worst. Whew, he's terrible. He is really terrible. He wanted he wanted her support system out of there so she wouldn't be able to do it. This woman is sitting up there pregnant, about to deliver any minute now. And it's hard enough for her to get up there and do this. And his attorneys tried to get him out of there so she wouldn't be able to look at him and look to him to support her. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Okay. They pushed back, saying Ventura needed her support system while on the stand. They met in the middle. The prosecution agreed that Fine would leave for Ventura's testimony regarding the allegation that Combs um, R worded her in 2018. So he's just going to leave just for one particular part, the R word allegation against Combs, and then I guess he'll be able to come back in. Oh my God. Man, that's horrible. Okay. I mean, I know nobody wants to go to jail, you know. No, but people want to do whatever they want to do. Nobody wants to nobody wants to pay for it. But to just be low down and dirty and try to get him out of there so she won't be as strong. She needs him. And that's really messed up. That's really messed up. If you didn't hear that, the the defense was trying to get Cassie's husband out of the courtroom. They're I feel like they're lying, because if he didn't know already that he might need to be a witness later, that's just, I mean, wouldn't he have already known that? And so the prosecution was like, no, she needs her support system. And then they're just going to take him out on the part where she's alleging that Diddy R worded her in 2018. mm, mm, mm. 'All right, we're just still looking at this mainly for our updates. And I believe the jury is still taking a break right now. Um, yeah, so they let them out for a break. I don't know how long their breaks are, maybe 30 minutes, potentially. Cassandra Ventura just walked into the courtroom with the jury present. She just walked in. She is pregnant in her third trimester. She is the epicenter of this entire case. Without her lawsuit in November 2023 that accused Sean Combs of physical and abuse, it's likely none of this would be happening. Combs turned back in his chair to see her walk in. Um, Hold on, let me see if I can grab another couple updates. 42 seconds ago. All rise. AUSA Johnson. The government calls Cassandra Ventura. And she takes a stand, extremely pregnant. AUSA Johnson. How old are you? Ventura, 38. AUSA. What is your work? Ventura, musician and entertainer. AUSA. How long were you with Sean? Ventura, 10 years. Okay, I'm going to keep it right here. Check for another update on the other side. No. Okay, so here is another update. So in this one, the AUSA Johnson is asking Cassie, did you get into arguments? Ventura said yes. It would result in violin dragging. AUSA, what else did he do? Ventura, stomp me in the head if I was down. AUSA asked how frequently was he violin? And Ventura said too frequently. I would get black eyes and bruises. Okay, so that's the latest updated testimony. And back over here, Cassandra Ventura is asked to describe her relationship with Sean Combs. In quotes, there were violent arguments that would usually result in some sort of physical abuse, dragging, different things of that nature, she said. Okay, waiting on the updates. And if you're in here, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. If you don't mind, Hit the thumbs up and like the video. If you haven't, subscribe to the channel. And once again, thanks for joining. We'll be back with some more updates when we're getting them. Okay. Okay, so just in, Cassie is being asked by prosecutors to describe what a freak off was. In quotes, it basically entails the hiring of an escort and setting up this experience so I could perform for Sean, she says in halting speech. It involved Combs, in quotes, being able to watch me with the other person and actually direct us on what we were doing, she says. In quotes, eventually it became a job for me, pretty much. Okay. I'm just checking to see if there's anything else along with that one. Okay, AUSA. How did you feel when he first asked for it? Ventura, confused, nervous. I wanted to make him happy. AUSA, did you agree to one when he first proposed one? Ventura, yes. Then there were more. It wasn't something I wanted to do, at least not that frequently. And then AUSA, let me show you a video. This is 6 minutes ago. Let me show you a video. LA Hotel elevator lobby shown. Where is this? Ventura, the Intercontinental in Los Angeles. It was after a freak off. It was after freak off. AUSA, what does that entail? And then she answers the hiring of an escort, setting it up. Let me share some testimony with you from an hour ago when Philip was still on the stand. We missed this. So Combs' Donaldson asked, "Did you date a model named Melia?" And the male dancer Philip said, "Malia." And I didn't say I dated her. We were friends. Donaldson asked, "You were with her and saw Cassie with someone not Mr. Combs?" And then Philip said yes. And then Donaldson asks or says, "You told Melia you saw Cassie socially." So then in another clip of testimony, also about an hour ago, male dancer Philip said yes. And then Combs' Donaldson said, "You thought Cassie wanted to see you one on one. Nothing to do with Sean Combs, right?" And Philip said, "I don't see what you mean." And then Donaldson asked, "In front of the Dream Hotel? That's what you thought?" And Philip said, "No." All right, y'all. It's going down. It's going down. Okay. A minute ago, Cassandra Ventura is describing the complex nature of her relationship with Sean Combs from their first freak offs. She says those events caused her nervousness and confusion. She says she didn't understand how these encounters could be a turn on, but she felt a responsibility, in quotes, to please Combs. In quotes, "I was confused, nervous, but also loved him very much," she said, or she says. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. As of 2 minutes ago, Ventura, "I didn't know what no could turn into." And the AUSA asked, "What do you mean?" Ventura, making him angry. AUSA, "What were you afraid of? What were you afraid would happen if you said no?" Ventura, though time, says, though time he had blackmail materials. Though time he had blackmail materials. I think that's a typo or something. And then AUSA says, "What did you give the government?" And then Ventura says, "Laptops." All right, that is the most. We got another one over here on this side. Okay. Sean Combs ultimately, in quotes, "controlled a lot of my life." Cassandra Ventura says, over time, she says the videos he shot of her during the ex encounters were, in quotes, "blackmail materials," which she feared could be put on the internet. In quotes, he had many resources to do that. Okay. All right. I will be back. I'll be back shortly. Okay. Let's see. We got a few updates to read. Hope everybody is having a great day. Let's see. Where are our updates? Okay. Said it was 3 of them. We're going to go back to the earliest one. All right. Okay. So Ventura, and this is like coming from different people who are reporting from the courtroom. So it's going to, overlap each other and stuff like that. But this gives us just kind of, a more information than we would have had from one person and a more well-rounded look at everything that's going on. Where's my okay, there I go. It's a little bit more light outside now. Okay, here we go. All right, Ventura is visibly pregnant, 8.5 months. Sean Combs' lawyer said the prosecutors offered her water, and she is expected to take breaks in what could be 4 days of testimony. Oh my goodness, she's gonna be up there all day. I get. Oh man, it's funny the things that you just hadn't thought about. Okay. And then from another person reporting from the courthouse, Cassandra Ventura is speaking softly on the stand and lifting a tissue to dab her nose and eyes. And then a different person, Ben Cesario, Cassie was asked what she knew of Sean Combs when she met him around 2005, when she was 19. In quotes, I just knew that he was this larger than life entrepreneur musician, was a fan of the music. I didn't know too much about him personally. And then soon after, she said she signed a 10-album deal with Combs' label, Bad Boy. All right, let's see if I can get another update. And I'm going on X. I'm looking at the Inner City Press, and it's just makes it a little bit easier for me not to keep going back and forth sharing the screens. But shout out to I don't want to say it wrong. Is it the New York Times that I'm on? The New York Times, and also the Inner City Press. And also these people reporting from the courthouse. So, all right. So 4 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago. Something that they put in 5 minutes ago. I'm not sure what that is, but all right, 4 minutes ago. Basically the government or the AUSA asked, where did you celebrate your birthday in this photo? And Cassie says, in Las Vegas. Carrie Morgan was there too. We are out on his patio on my 21st birthday, VMAs. And the AUSA asked, what happened then? And then Cassie says, Sean kissed me in the bathroom. I ran back to my hotel. I told Carrie. And then more recent, AUSA, when you go back to New York, or I think that should have been, when do you go back to New York? Ventura answers, I visit him. Let's see, when you go back to New York, that's the question. Cassie, I visit him in the Trump Hotel in Columbus Circle. His apartment was being renovated. AUSA, what are you going, where, what were you going to, I don't think this is worded right. What were you going with your music career? I think that should have said, where were you going with your music career? All right. And then Ventura answers, trying to come up with a concept. Sean called all of the shots. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I think that's something different. That's something different. That was a while ago. Um, Refresh and see if there's anything new. AUSA asks, what is the age difference between you and Sean? Ventura, 17 years. AUSA, how did you feel when Sean invited you to hotels? And Ventura answers, nervous, excitement. We're going to talk about music. He introduced me to RALX. I didn't understand it. Wow. So she's 19 when they met. And we're missing some of this testimony. This has gaps in it. Please understand, this has gaps in it. This is just what these people reporting from the courtroom are able to get through to us. So, but yeah, she was 19. She's saying that he introduced her to oral, and she's saying she didn't understand it. Meanwhile, he's 17 years older than her. So she's 19. That makes him what, 36? Okay. On the other side, there's an update. All right. Cassandra Ventura was asked why she wanted to be around Sean Combs. In quotes, I wanted to be around Sean for the same reasons as everyone else at the time, she testified. In quotes, he was just this exciting, entertaining, fun guy that also happened to have, my career in his hands. Oh, man. All right. So those are our latest updates. Yeah, those are our latest updates. I'm keeping the live going today so I don't have to jump in and out of lives. I mean, I'm just going to kind of see what works best over time, but I'm okay with keeping this one going today. I'm going to get out until I notice some updates stacking up, and then I will come back and so I will be back when I see some new updates. All right, I'm coming back in with some updates. Let's get to it. And let me see where we have our first update. We're going to look at over here at the New York Times. Let me do a refresh real quick just to make sure that's the one. Okay, just now. All right, so Cassandra Ventura is describing life with Sean Combs once she started dating him. In quotes, this lifestyle was much different, she said. In quotes, he had assistants at his beck and call. He could get anything done quickly. He had respect from everyone, and he traveled quite a bit. All right, let's look back over here. I'm not going to take you over here to X, but I'm going to the platform. I'm going to look over here and see what, if anything, has been updated. Okay, 6 minutes ago, AUSA asked, "How did you take ecstasy unintentionally?" And Cassie said, "It was in Gatorade." And AUSA said, "When you took it intentionally with Sean, how did it feel?" And Ventura said, "Like rolling." And AUSA asked at the time, "What did you think?" And Ventura said that we were spending a lot of time together. So she's describing the time of taking ecstasy unintentionally. And basically, she's saying he either put it in or had it put into Gatorade. All right. So the 3 minute ago post, Ventura said, "I thought we were monogamous." And AUSA asked, "Was it made public?" And Ventura said, "No, I was his artist, also his family, his children." So, no, I was his artist, also maybe something like his family, his children. So, no, it wasn't public. AUSA asked, "Who was linked to him publicly?" And Ventura said, "Kim Porter." AUSA asked, "How did Sean treat you at this time?" And Ventura said, "We had fun." Okay. Oh my goodness, my goodness. I'm going to refresh and see if there's anything else before I go back to my break. Okay, I don't see anything else over here on X. And I don't see anything new on the New York Times. Would y'all mind telling me if this music is getting annoying? If you can put that in the chat, if that music is bothering you, or if it's okay to leave it, just let me know in the chat, please. Thank you. And also, if you have not, please like the video. It's just a few of you here right now. So if you'd like the video, that'd be great. Thank you. If you haven't already. Thanks. Okay, we got another update, maybe a couple, but one just in. Let me see. All right, so this is from someone, Ben Cesario, again, reporting from the courthouse. So this reads, Cassandra Ventura is explaining the complexity of her relationship with Sean Combs. At times, she is describing excitement, attraction, a whirlwind. Their romance began on a trip to Miami, where they had X on a boat and he gave her a blue dolphin, in quotes, X, ecstasy pill. But when she didn't answer his phone calls, she says he could call her incessantly or have his assistants and security personnel track her down. All right, let's see if there's another update over here on X, ironically. Okay. Okay, so from 5 minutes ago, AUSA, or this is probably the attorney for the USA, right? Or something of that nature. What was his lifestyle like? And then Ventura answered, he had all these assistants. He could get things done. He traveled quite a bit. And then AUSA, what's this photo? And Ventura answers, Sean and I at a strip club in New York, like 2007 or 2008, Halloween. And AUSA asks, how did Sean's moods vary? And I think they meant it to say Ventura day to day. Okay, from 2 minutes ago, AUSA asks, when it swung, could you describe it? And Ventura answers, anger, zoning out. AUSA asks, how did it impact you? And Ventura answers, greatly. The next thing I knew, I was getting hit in the face. There was also psychological abuse. He'd tell me to watch my mouth, change my face. Okay. Okay, change your face. All righty. So there's another update here. Let's see what this one says. 1 minute ago, Sean Combs' moods were extreme, Cassandra Ventura says. He would object if she was being, quote, a brat. She adds, in quotes, make the wrong face. The next thing I knew, I was getting hit in the face. Yeah. Okay. So that kind of correlates with what we just read from the other gentleman. And make sure. All right, y'all. Those are our most recent updates from the courthouse. I'm going to go back to silent. Hey, Texas Toy. Hello, hello. Good morning. That's what I was thinking. I was like, where you got some kids. You need to go tell them that, sir. I am not one of your kids. Yeah, it's he was more than a mess. More than. Okay, no update. No update, no update. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go back to mute. Once again, y'all let me know if this music is annoying, but I kind of think it's cool just to have a little something flowing in the background, so it won't be the just the silent. I'm gonna get back to what I was doing until we have something else to read from the courthouse. And then like last night I did kind of like a morning to close recap of what all happened during the trial from yesterday. So I'll plan on doing that again every evening or night. I didn't get around to it until a little bit later last night, but but I do plan on keeping those going because there's, this is hours of testimony and we're only getting these clips. They don't have streaming access in federal courtrooms, nor do they have cameras. They're using the sketch artists for the photos. So we are just relying on these updates to come out from the people who are in the courtroom or in the overflow rooms, right? Wherever they're reporting from, they have to do it that way. So I found out a lot of things last night when I did the recap and went back and gathered information after the whole day was over. So that was pretty good. So we'll do that again. Right now, I'm just kind of trying to stay up on the updates as they're coming. I see one, so I'll get these couple before I go back to silent mode over here. Let's see. Okay. From about a minute ago, the AUSA asked, how would he keep tabs on you? And Cassie said, we didn't live far apart. He'd send security to come find me or a trusted assistant. And the AUSA asked, like who? And Ventura said, David James, Christina Coram. And the AUSA asked, was your relationship exclusive? And Cassie said no. All right, over here on the New York Times. Yeah, the New York Times. So they're kind of echoing this same thing. Sean Combs' security personnel was around 24 hours a day. Cassie says security protected him, kept an eye on me. So security protected him and kept an eye on her. I'm gonna fall out and roll on the floor. she, I mean, I feel like she's saying, yeah, they made sure nothing happened to him, and they made sure that nothing happened with me. Like, made sure they kept me just in my place. I need these lights from these screens over here. Y'all, Diddy was fooling. This was a mess. Man. Just a damn mess. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go back to watching for updates. And I'll still be here and I'll be back shortly. Okay. Okay, we got some updates. Got some updates floating in. Okay, just now from Julia Jacobs reporting from the courthouse, Ben Cesario, and Ben Cesario. As Cassandra Ventura testifies, she sometimes shifts in her seat and puts her hands on her pregnant belly. Wait a minute. Oop, I didn't see this one either. So, infidelity and jealousy were part of their relationship, Cassandra Ventura says. Cassandra Ventura says, in quotes, I was insanely jealous, but she says she moved to Los Angeles because, in quotes, because I was in love and I wanted to be near him. Um, okay, and then Cassandra Ventura is talking about the apartments where she lived. This was as of like 2 minutes ago. She's talking about the apartments where she lived in Los Angeles and how close they were to Sean Combs's house. At one apartment, she says they traveled between the buildings on a golf cart. And then, as of a minute ago, the prosecution's star witness, Cassie, is deep into her testimony about her relationship with Sean Combs. She began by describing his physical abuse, dragging her, kicking her, stomping on her, and her anxiety surrounding the voyeuristic ex he introduced her to, now known in the public lexicon as a freak off. My God, it's made it to the public lexicon. Ventura next went back to the beginning, describing how she met Combs at 19, fell in love, and saw him taking more and more control over her life and career. She describes a mercurial personality who would pay for her rent in Manhattan, but also frequently tell her to fix your face and watch your mouth. If Combs couldn't find her, he would send security guards or personal assistants to locate her. Let's check and see if there's anything else. As of Okay, as of 5 minutes ago, AUSA asked, where did you live in LA? Ventura, 875 Comstock Avenue, Wilshire Corridor condos. AUSA asked, how tall was the building? Ventura says, no more than 17 floors. AUSA asks, where did Sean live? Ventura, 200 South Mapleton. Sean would use a golf cart to get back and forth. And then about a minute ago, AUSA asked, who paid your rent in LA? And Cassie says, Sean, except when I had the house in Studio City. And then the AUSA asked, why do you pay then? I don't know. Why do you pay then? I don't know what that means. And Cassie answered, I could afford it. Oh, why did you pay then? Okay. And she says, I could afford it then, and I wanted to have some control. It was accepted. And then AUSA asked by whom, and Cassie answers Sean. Okay. All right, those are our most recent updates. Okay, and I will be back when I see a few more updates collecting together. Mm. There's one just in, so I'm gonna go ahead and read it. So, when she lived in Los Angeles, Cassie says she had her own apartments, but Sean Combs had keys and used them whenever he wanted. It was a quote, stomach in knots moment when he visited, she says, because she never knew what mood Combs would be in, whether he would yell and bang on the door or come in smooth, quote, smooth. Okay. All right. I'm back. And it looks like, hold on, let me get here. Okay. I'm back with another couple of updates. Make sure there's none over here on the New York Times. Okay. So we don't have any on the New York Times right now, but I'm going to go over here to X and grab these couple of updates. Okay. So Ventura, I'm just going to say Cassie. So Cassie, the freak offs became a job. There was no time to do anything else but do them, then try to recover. And then the attorney USA asks, how much time in your week would freak offs take? And Ventura says the longest was 4 days. The longest was 4 days, significant periods of time. And then the judge says, we'll break here. All right, they went in for a break. And this should be a lunch break. Okay. Just checking to see if there's any other recent exchanges. And that's the most recent one, or any that I missed, rather. Okay. There's one here in just now. So, over the course of her record deal with Bad Boy, Cassie says she recorded hundreds of songs, in quotes. Some were released officially, some were leaked on the internet, and some, in quotes, just didn't see the light of day. She is asked how many full albums were not released as part of her 10-album deal, and she said, in quote, 9. Now, I knew that. I did know that. It's just saying it in court and saying it like in context, when you look at everything that's being presented, it's just like, wow, this man had her hung up for days on end, uh, intimidated, doing everything that he wanted her to do. Much of it she did not want to do. And but she had little or no control over her own time and what she do, because she never knew when he would run in and how he would be feeling and what his requests would be, but not really requests, like what his demands would be. So anyway, she said that she didn't release 9 albums. She only got to release 1. And then the decision, she says, was Sean Combs's. Okay. That's, hold on. Let me see if this is about the same. Okay, this kind of correlates with what we just saw on the other platform, because Cassie testifies that partying with Sean Combs and freak-offs, quote, took a big chunk of my life. She recalls staying up for days on end, drinking, taking substances, and having sex with, quote, strangers. The freak-offs ranged from roughly 36 hours to 4 days, though they could last longer with breaks. Then she would need to recover from the substances, dehydration, and sleep deprivation. The, quote, freak-offs became a job where there was no space to do anything else but to recover and just try to feel normal again, she says. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I don't know why this man wouldn't take some sort of a plea deal. Cassie has left the witness stand for a lunch break. Court is expected to resume at 1 p.m. Why on earth he wouldn't take whatever they were offering, I do not know. Because this just sounds like he was holding this lady hostage for years. I mean, she was basically a hostage walking around with some freedoms, but she's basically just a hostage. You know. So, all right, they're breaking for lunch. I'm going to break for lunch as well. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream, and then I'll decide if I'm going to get back in with a stream, or if I'm just going to go live from my phone with updates. So I will think about that before I come back, and then I'll be back though with some updates. All right. Thank you. Y'all have a great lunch hour, and I'll see you in a bit.